Hello, hello. Ladies and gentlemen, how are you? Just let me know if my sound is good. Turabe. Yep. Sound good, sound good, sound okay. Yes, bana mumbuize ka sound kangao. If my sound is good, then turabe. Yeah, okay. Okay, if my sound is okay, then you can okay, comments. Is my sound fine? I think my sound is fine. Sound is fine. Sound is fine. Yes, mbaramusizaako mwenna mwenna wali ku kyoto. Hope you're all good and fine. Then you can. I think the sound is good. That's grand. Now, so now there's something I'm going to play here. Kati njaga kulaba oba sound yange ekyali fine, okay? So let me just test something here, then tulabe. Yes, mbaramusizaako mwenna mwenna. Oops. Oh, okay. Yeah, then tulabe. Yes, mbaramusizaako mwenna mwenna. Oops. Okay, so what's happening literally is that Echiwo, the sound doesn't come through video jenza nyao. So let me bring it through another medium then because there's something I want to talk about, and then we can see. All right.
On a
Okay, so what do I do here? Okay, so what's happening literally is that Echiwo, the sound doesn't come through video jenza nyao. So let me bring it through another medium. Okay, now that's good. Kakati kankole went. Yesterday, ababadde ku frontline. I don't know if one of you were watching, but I haven't watched that station for like forever, almost almost 10 months. Badesilaba NBS. Literally, I mean, Badesilaba Nyoma Wulire, Ga Uganda. Nadala talk shows is very political, the likes of NBS. Made Sijiraba. That's the truth. Sijiraba. I don't watch NBS. NTV Interakulaba Kawungezi, that's all. I think that's as good as I get. I used to listen to CBSC, these other guys, but no. Unless if there is something good, omuntu na recommending ananga nti, did you listen to this program? Oba oliriza ku program eno genda ogiwulirizeeko olabe. That's when I go ahead and listen, and then I see if there is something that I can get out of it. Kale kansooke mbalamuziseeko mwenna ndifuna Mariam, Robert Gavin, Sarah Jingo, Elizabeth, Kabanda Dennis, Remy Akelo, Marion, Shumema Abu, Eddie Lekuru Titilemi Titilemi Lekuru, mwebale mwenna okubeerako ku kyoto. Mbaniriza mwenna. Yeah, I understand NBS. I understand the frustrations, guys. But yesterday, kwabadeko program ku Frontline. Someone recommended that program. Nanga mayanja gendo labe program ya Frontline. Echibadde kuli chibadde chika. Namba okay. So I downloaded the program and I watched it actually twice today. Now Sseggona was there. kuliko omukyala gwe bayita Muhanga Kabuzi. Yeah, like she's Kabuzi kuba yabba embuzi. Yagamba nti yatunda embuzi n'agula ettaka lya UBC. So you can call her Kabuzi. And nekubaako n'omusajja akyasinza obubi mu Uganda. I know I'm a very ugly man, like nonteekaawo n'abasajja abasinga abakazi abasinga tebayinza kulondako mayanja, like they can really look for other men, you know, but I'm one of the most ugly people like in the world. Newankubadde ndi mubi naye one of the most ugly people in the world. Nze wenkoma ofuna opondo watandikira, at least nange I know nti, you know, nina nange weneekomparingira mu babi nange ndi mulungi mu babi nti ofuna opondo, no one can pick him nga nange wendi. So okay, that's the joke, jokes aside. Anyway, ofuna opondo yabadde ku panel, and then Nandala Mafabi was also on the panel, and then the mighty Sseggona nga naye ali ku panel. So I listened and I watched the show. Of course, babadde boogera Katumba Wamala. But it was very interesting okulaba Omukulu Sseggona and how he was making his point and how he was submitting his points. Yeah, Mr. Underwear. Thank you very much. Mr. Underwear ofuna opondo yabaddewo. Naye banaye ova mwenaalemu wali atali mubbi. Omuhanga yabba embuzi. Ofuna opondo yabba Underwear. Kati n'ogamba banaye what is really going on. Anyway, etuveeyo. Kati nabadde ndaba program eyo. Nga bwe ngenda obbalaga wano. But I realized nti mu Uganda mulimu abasajja abalina amagezi. And we have people who can argue. We have people who can make points. I really nawanise emikono negamba, you know what? Nze ne Sseggona, this is where I do really wenzikiriza nti some people are just gifted, they are just talented. Like you saw the best of Medard Sseggona yesterday. Yabadde ayogera lunyaanyimbe nga asandwichinze agasse Muhanga as well as ofuna opondo n'aba destroying, like n'aba kuba to the extent nti Nandala Mafabi yamugaye nti no n'obudde bwange nabwo bwogere ne mumbukuwadde. Guy, the way he spoke, the way he argued these two individuals, because last time baleeta Lubongoya bambi ne bamukola ki ne bamukalakata. You see, in debate, when people start going personal, like never do that thing. Oba debate anywhere. Nadala mu parliamentarians oba councillors mu abantu b'ennyupi bayita ku TV ne radios to debate. Make sure woba okola submissions zo, woba okola arguments zo, do not go personal on people. Whereas nkoze comments one is Underwear, oba nkoze comments ez'embuzi, don't bring that stuff up. Because whenever you bring that up in a debate, Nadala is a TV show, kitegeeza opponent aba cornered. The opponent has cornered you, and you're out of ammunition, or out of arguments, so you resort to personal attacks. Okay, what Bembuzi, yeah, it is true. Na echo bachidiringanya for a very long time, and it no longer makes sense. Like it's no longer techicha tunanga bechiri. Olino mugamba, oh, wabanda Underwear. You know, for the past 10 years, tubade tugambo for opponent wabanda Underwear. So it no longer sells today. But there are so many points you can hit them on. And I think Sseggona kyeyakoze jo yabadde masterclass for any parliamentarian. Nadala bamwe abapya abakayingira abanupu. You can watch that show. Mungenda actually mtandika okulaba shows us Sseggona zabadde akola to debate people and to talk to people, how he represents NUP, how he represents people power. You should go and watch those shows because those are master classes, honestly. Kubanga for the very first time ofuna opondo naye kenyini n'asirika nga ebyokwogera tayina, literally nga buli points gyaleeta the guy argues him out with facts. He was literally taking them through a master class of akuajuinga facts ne law school. Like I did education, but I negomba nnyo amateeka, you know, for those of us who went abagenda university, you know, Those who study law is the cream de la cream of people. Is the cream de la cream in arts. You get the point. Now, literally, the guy, what he was doing. Educating in every aspect. In law, politics, human rights, and the future of Uganda. That's what he was doing. Kati we nalabidde ddala nti Muhanga musiru talina magezi, and Muhanga is literally a gundi wannabe, a brother wannabe, ayagala kubanga Muganda wono gwe bayita kekanya akasajja ako kamwenda. Muhanga ayagala nnyo okubanga mwenda. Era we walabye submissions ze, ebintu bye yabadde ayogera nga tebiriimu magezi, ng'awoza ninde katono. Muhanga ebintu bye yabadde ayogera nga tebiriimu magezi, ng'awoza in America they kill people. Ofuna Opondo n'aleeta argument. In 1960, was it 1964, 1966? John F. Kennedy was killed, was massacred, was assassinated. Kakati, you cannot bring such kind of arguments. Nga twogera ku assassination, because you're speaking about an assassination in what? 1960s. Even the bulletproof almost was not yet formed. Yayite naba nakubera discovered or whatever. Yayite naba kolewa, I think. So, bakolewa comparison, like comparing apples to oranges. Like you cannot do such a thing. Kati Muhanga, nga yetaina, literally she raised no point. Ngebintu byonna byayogera, hiyase, agenda kushoza bantu abalala n'awulira bye baba boogedde, n'ajja n'ayogera ebyo. Kati that is the best people they have okwogerera NRM, which is really interesting. But anyway, let us first see Ssegona's submissions ku bintu ebimu byayogeddeko. And then we shall break it down and see what these things mean. Okay, now let us see one of his submissions.
Katumba Wamala is a personal friend. I actually married from his clan. So the daughter who was killed is supposedly my sister-in-law. I thank God that he has given them strength. I talked to the wife yesterday. I've also talked to Katumba Wamala today, as we saw of Brenda. He's strong in Christ, and we thank God for it. I joined the colleagues who really expressed dismay at this event. Katumba Wamala is a calm man. I mean, everyone has a story about Katumba. I remember, I think it was 2005 or 6 or thereabout, when a gentleman attempted to assassinate Honorable Namboze. And the gentleman came and said, I could not assassinate this woman because when I saw her arrive at a rally at City Square and the warm reception she received from the people, I said, no, this woman should not die. We thought it was a joke. So we told this man, let's not talk from the street, let's go to our office. We had an office at London Chambers. So when we reached our office, the gentleman removed the bayonet and said, look, this was for Namboze. True or not, he told us he had been sent by Honorable Peter Bakalwa Mukasa.
What?
Yes, that's what he said, and I'm reporting it as it is. In my presence, I was not told. So we reported to police. He said, you can call the police. We called the police. The police came in. That's the time when the two were at loggerheads. So the man surrendered and was detained. General Katumba Wamala called Honorable Namboze and Honorable Bakalwa Mukasa. In his office, I think they were still in Chibuli. And he said, you people are both from Mukono. Why should I go ahead and lock up somebody for bickering with a neighbor? Can't you reconcile? He reconciled in his presence. And so many years after, without his contribution, perhaps knowledge, I have seen Honorable Namboze and Honorable Peter Bakalwa Mukasa on the same podium. Now that is Katumba.
Kakati, let us first pause there, like just to break everything down. Sigazizaako kubalaga submissions z'abano ba Opondo, Muhanga and these other people because ndaba teziri relevant naye abaagala oziraba musobola ogenda ne muziraba. But for me what was interesting in Ssegona's submission, his introduction, he really portrayed into he's actually much more closer to Katumba Wamala than people who profess to be in the NRM. In the debate, walabyenga Ofuna Opondo ye agendera ku bigambo bya UPDF. Margaret Muhanga agendera ku bigambo Ofuna Opondo byayogedde oba byalabye mu mawulire. But Sseggona made a phone call to Katumba Wamala. Sseggona spoke to the wife. Sseggona attended the burial. Ofuna Opondo did not attend the burial. Muhanga, later on in the show, are claiming anti ali close ne Katumba Wamala, mbu abaana be bagenda ne bawumulire wa Katumba Wamala, of which Muhanga, who claims intino Katumba Wamala mukwano gwe muwala we, simanyi gwe bayita Belinda mukwano gwa muwala we, blah 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 blah, she didn't even go for the burial, which is really interesting. Now, kati Sseggona wabanga he is introducing his argument, is speaking with a lot of authority. Okulagira ddala nti, okay, you guys muyinza okubanga mukolagana naye mu kibiina ky'NRM, but I'm much more closer to Katumba Wamala than you guys think. And that is the same thing era kye twalaba, the same argument Muwanga Kivumbi maybe abawuliza audio or like the debate gye nayogerako luli eyali ku CBS between Muwanga Kivumbi and Harold Kaija. Harold Kaija was speaking from a party position ng'agamba Muwanga Kivumbi nti look here, nze ebintu bye tukola tubikola nga party era mbimanyi. Then Muwanga Kivumbi shuts down Harold Kaija n'amugamba look here, goyinza okuba ng'olina by'oyogera ne Ssemujunganda, but me nze nina bye njogera naye by'atasobola kubuulira. Now that is a very interesting point to this for this matter. Nti Katumba Wamala alina by'asobola okugamba Sseggona by'atasobola kugamba muntu yenna alina ali mu NRM. And you will find that people in the opposition knew oba bamanyi Katumba Wamala much more than the people in the NRM, which is a very, very interesting phenomenon for me as a person. For me as a person, like when I listened to Ssegona's submission now, an example, Katumba Wamala intervenes in the issue of Bakaluba Mukasa as well as Betty Namboze. What does that tell you as a person? Until he intervenes within this fracas, eliwo wakati wa Betty Namboze as well as Bakaluba Mukasa. Until Bakaluba Mukasa sends someone to go and stab Betty Namboze at the square bamufumite ekiso. Why hasn't Sseggona ever come out okutubulira amawulire ago? Lwaki abadde tagogeranga? Nti Katumba Wamala did such a thing. That's interesting. Okay. Abyogera kati. Meaning that they have shared or they have been in these circles for quite some time. Tibaine ebintu bye discussing ngabo. Sagala kibatekako. But there are some things that we don't know that we don't know. Mamanyi coach ya Donald Rumsfeld. Is it Donald Rumsfeld? There are known knowns and known unknowns. Things we know that we don't know. And then there are known knowns. Those are things that we know that we know. And then there are known unknowns. Those are things that we know that we don't know. And then there are unknown unknowns. Unknown unknowns are things that we don't know that we will never know. Oye, Yarigundi, American what? Foreign Secretary explaining the war in Iraq. And then I think the same analogy works well with our struggle today. Until there are unknown unknowns, things that we which waliwo ebintu bye tutamanyi bye tutamanyi. Then there are known knowns. Waliwo ebintu bye tumanyi naye nga no, they are unknown knowns. Waliwo ebintu bye tutamanyi naye nga tubimanyi. Bye tutamanyi naye ebintu bye tumanyi tetubimanyi. Then wabaawo n'ebintu bye tutamanyi era nga tetujja kubimanya. Which is really interesting to me. Inti mukulu Katumba Wamala intervened and mediated between Bakaluba Mukasa and Betty Namboze. When Bakaluba Mukasa had sent an assassin to stab or to kill Betty Namboze. Era Sseggona is evident. Sseggona tamalaga asama yasama. I can take his word, what he says. Like, there are some people who speak in Uganda, nengamba onotali mu byakusaga, oba tali mu byakunyonya mawulire. Sseggona is one of those people. So nagamba tino tugende ku polisi o confessing enti ddala bawaddoze kufumisa Namboze kiso nti ye musajja nakkiriza. But then, after the mediations of Katumba Wamala to the present day, it shows nti Bakalwa Mukasa, as well as Namboze, are on the same podium. Chitegezachi, nti Namboze has ever interacted with Katumba Wamala as the opposition. So, that is very interesting, especially on Ssegona's submission. An opposition, yaringa yogerera. Kubanga kati chifo cha yogerera mu Katumba Wamala, akulaga nti amutegeera nnyo n'okusinga Ofuno Opondo, n'okusinga Margaret Muhanga. That is very powerful to me. In my own analysis or my own understanding of things. And most of these things, it will explain to you as to why this guy had to be eliminated, like it or not. Let us listen more from Omukulu.
We are human. I think there are times when maybe the heat of the moment, I have only seen him in one fracas in Parliament when he had an encounter with the Honorable Zake and beat him up. He came up, expressed regret. You would not believe this is a general talking. He expressed regret, and they made up. That's why you saw Zake in hospital. You saw Zake at the burial. And I marked in condolence, Zake contributed 1 million shillings. That's Katumba. Nobody deserves death. Even if someone has a reason, nobody grants you the power to pronounce death as a penalty to a human being. We therefore condemn this in the strongest terms possible. For Brenda, such an innocent young lady, we place her in the hands of God. Isolated incident. If this is an isolated...
No, but just pause. Can you guys feel the silence? Surely, I mean, where has this guy been for the past 15 years? What has the opposition been doing to use people like these ones? Silence in the entire studio. I mean, Enosho or is a better shouting match. But the respect that Sseggona has, if he is speaking, everyone has to listen. Era Muhanga, obedda ali mu noza, obedda ali ku simu nga mweda ya mubulira ebyokwogera nti mucyankalanya owuuna. The silence. The silence.
Isolated incident. Then I need to go back to school. You see, these have been a series of murders with guns. Kawesi, you've named them, Chigundu, Abiriga, etc., who my granddaughter, Margaret, referred to as having been naive. I didn't know that about Kano Abiriga, because he was a serious man as a member of parliament, and a Kano, it's a rank.
Now look at that. Look at Ssegona's Gundi. Olaba Sseggona is a very talented debater. Inti Muhanga was yabade a downplaying Abiriga, an NRM, his fellow legislator, an NRM legislator, and study serious, inti comedian, bichi. Why would one want to kill Abiriga? Umuntu asesa abantu bichi. Now Sseggona comes to the rescue of Abiriga's credibility. Abiriga is a credible legislator. Amuanye, of which that is a tactic. It is a very powerful tactic. And actually, Muhanga, kubanga toyinza teku, you cannot rebut ku argument where Sseggona is actually holding Abiriga in high praise as a fellow legislator that served with Sseggona, of which Muhanga was actually ngakuba their own legislators. Now, Chitegezanti, Sseggona was literally disarming Muhanga. By the time he called her my granddaughter, then in Sabulidana. I mean, this was a masterclass. I was really impressed with how Sseggona did this thing. So great.
I may never attain. And I'm sure
that's very true.
And Margaret may never even become a lieutenant. So if you refer to a colonel, unless,
I'm already a general in
unless
case
you are
didn't know.
confirming my suspicion that in this era, so anybody can become anything in Museveni's army. Perhaps that's what you're trying to confirm. But to me, these have been serialized murders, and the state is watching. You made a mistake in your introduction when you said I will be chasing thieves as a chair park. Now, that's not the mentality I want to go with. I want to imagine that my colleagues and I are going to interface with serious servants of government, that where there are mistakes, we correct them together. And nobody should come to us expecting to be facing the guillotine. We will be interfacing cordially, but the facts must come out.
The theft must come out.
Now, I don't know if you guys can see, but look at Ofono Pondo's posture. I mean, this was really very,
Did I
very
say theft? I said the facts.
And I'm saying that
Now, as to whether those facts will constitute theft, that will be a matter of facts and evidence, as well as the law. And of course, as you may rightly suspect, we all know, if someone is caught in the till, the consequences are provided for in the law. There's a book I read and I bought on the streets of Nairobi. It was called Pigs on the Trough. And that takes me to the president's reaction when he said, yes, these are pigs. And there have been pigs before. The killers of Abiriga pigs, the killers of Chirumira pigs, the killers of Kawesa pigs. I first of all want to imagine, if I'm to contextualize, the president meant that people who recklessly go around armed in public and shooting without regard to human life behave like pigs because they are not organized. But it's only in Uganda where you'll find armed pigs. A group of pigs, armed, shooting and killing. Now, the president is the commander-in-chief of all armed forces. Now you have a force of pigs which is armed and killing. And these are not the first pigs to kill. I've been telling you about the Kawesi etc. But even in November last year, those same pigs killed people. In Uganda here, the government...
Now, did you guys get that? What he's trying to argue here, Chawura, it is very hard to argue with this guy, because you cannot separate the people who are assassinating these so-called high-profile individuals and then nobody detaching from the people who actually killed innocent civilians last year. And I think that is what he was trying to put up. So, yeche yakoze yabagasse n'abagamba nti woba mugamba nti bano abasitakawo ensimbizi then n'abatta abantu mu November November nga 2 nazo mbizi. So it is the same thing. Kakati waliwo eyatuse maaso eyo n'agamba muno, who is the owner of the pig style ani akulira ekiyumba ky'embizi kino, then akulira ekiyumba ky'embizi kino gwe tulina okubanga tutwala. But that was a very intelligent move for him to combine the murders of November, ezivugisa Museveni kati akanagi, connect it with the murders of these so-called high-profile individuals. I mean, that was really, really intelligent, from my own understanding.
And, I think it was my brother Ofono Pondo, my brother, my son, Ofono Pondo was...
You had that jab into my son, Ofono Pondo. And Ofono Pondo doesn't even reply.
Saying they are 50. He killed the 50. We thought they were... Yasin Kauma in Arua. And why these serial murders?
Do you see where he's going? The same pigs killed Yasin Kauma. And of course, it is not the ADF that murdered Yasin Kauma. It is not the ADF that killed the people on the streets. So he has shifted the argument nti okutunulira just okuttibwa oba okukubibwa kwa Brenda amasasi ne bakawesi embizi ze zimu ze zitta abantu baffe bulijjo, if that is what you say, that these are pigs. Very, very, very,
These serial murders continue.
very good.
One is because even those that are known are not brought to book. They are not arrested. They are not prosecuted. I have challenged the president to show us the due process in the death of Yasin Kauma. It is nowhere. In this election, we have just concluded, the pigs have been running around with bullets, shooting and killing citizens. Nobody has been prosecuted, no investigation. In Kayunga, the Kayunga debacle, I think 2010, the same pigs killed. I want to understand the president to have meant that these are pigs in reference to the absence of due process. So all these murderers, I agree with the president, are pigs. They are armed.
Yeah.
They are forces. And if a pig can pick a gun, kill today, tomorrow, etc., and the commander-in-chief of the armed forces cannot arrest a pig, and even if this is a human being who looks like a pig, to cause the imagination of the president to think it's a pig, then they are smarter. And therefore, we are not safe. I don't agree with Mr. Zephaniah Fonopondo, who says, no, there is no cause for panic. We are already panicking. I agree with Margaret. Margaret says, we are in fear. We are living in fear. I mean, if General Katumba could be shot at, he's in an army vehicle. This thug knows that the person, and with Foster General, and they know who they are shooting at. He's trained, he has practiced the gun for the last 30 or 40 years. He's armed, he has a bodyguard who is a trained soldier, he has a driver who is a trained soldier. Now you tell me not to panic. And you tell me I am safe. When we were at burial, the Honorable Thinakal was said, Uganda is safe. Unless Uganda means something, an abstract entity, and does not include me, does not include Katumba Amala, does not include Brenda, you cannot tell me we are safe.
Okay.
Finally,
yes.
It is only the ugly that compare themselves with chimpanzees. Any murder anywhere in the world is an ugly thing. You do not compare yourself with that unless you concede that you are ugly. So we have all reasons to panic. Now, when you say because of the changes in the security sector, no. When these murders started, the cooperation was there. General Kalekahura was a general. He was the Inspector General of Police. Actually, he's accused most of militarizing the police. If you look at most of the directors in the police, he had picked from the army.
Okay, guys, is it just me over Muringa Balavanti guy ali mu studio yeka? I don't know if you guys the nabanga yali mu yeka.
They were there today, and IGP Okoth Ochola. Then Sabit Muzei was the deputy, was a general. My brother Paul Okech is a general. She's continuing. So I think, one, God has the power to save us. Let's pray. Two, God will use human beings. But among the human beings that I'm praying for God to give me or to use in protecting me, Tibo Haburwa is not one of them. Because we thought he had gathered the experience over the last 30 years, plus those ones of doing criminal activities in the bush. I thought the man has trained enough to protect me. The soldier is outside, so I can comfortably sleep. The soldier is sleeping on his job.
All right, let's take it up from there. The issues that Medard raises.
I mean, that was his first submission. kakati then Ofono Opondo replies eranga mumanyi natandika America, they killed this one, Bigundi, they killed here, they killed there, eranga mumanyi Ofono Opondo's spins na bichi. So it doesn't make really coherent rebuttals to the Right Honorable Ssegona's submissions. Tugenda kutunuulira just another katono katutunuulire just submission wano endala katono nnyo. Katulabe wano.
Uninterrupted, there's something.
Do you plan to leave?
To go where? And to put wrong people in the very...
Just a minute.
Yes. No, that case has been concluded.
I am more schooled in that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
you don't talk about laws when you don't...
I am more schooled in that. So the point I am making, you start asking many things were said.
Okay.
Submitted cartridges and I use it to in my gun.
I think because we have
A cartridge is a shell.
Exactly. You are right. It's a gun.
But if you get a bullet from, you can go to a police station.
No, you have said. It is important that all this where.
And the other thing that you guys never noticed is the corroboration eyabaddewo wakati wa Sseggona as well as Naddala Mafabi. Like babadde nga abeeteeseza nti okay, I'm very critical about the FDC. I'm very critical about Naddala Mafabi, but I think Ssegona's prowess, Mafabi naye ng'omuntu yabadde talina kyayinza kwogera honestly, because the guy was yabadde akanyuga point after point, facts after facts, argument after argument, nga ne Mafabi naye talina kyakwogera. But let us first listen to this second segment, submission ya Sseggona eyokubiri, showing how really this guy handled the debate. Absolutely, I mean, very, very intelligent.
Unauthorized arms be withdrawn, or with authorized but with wrong persons be removed. You are agreeing with us that the person who is in charge.
the script doesn't have to be this one. Because we have
A cartridge is a shell.
Exactly. You are right. It's a gun.
But if you get a bullet from Sabiti's gun, which was going to
For the record, I don't have one.
and you use it on your gun, it is the fingerprint of your gun that will show on the cartridge that the gun has fired.
No,
All right, Honorable Medard, yes.
I think we've been accused. OO came with a script.
Which one?
And,
You are the one who has the paper. Even.
No.
I don't know who wrote for you the notes.
The question,
No, he's right.
the question is one of construction of the English language. The script doesn't have to be.
Now you see the body posture of Muhanga as well as Ofono Opondo. Kubakati wano babadde already, I think, 1 hour into the show. But this shows that these guys had already been subdued. Because if you see Ofono Opondo nga ayogera atunuulidde Sseggona. Muhanga waba ayogera atunuulidde Sseggona. Sseggona waba ayogera atunuulidde camera. And he's a person who is not some atamala budde bwe bungi nnyo mu studios. But this is the point abasajja bano babadde balaga, okay guy, please tusomese tutegeere.
This one, which I've written.
Well, you can.
OO came with the script in the head.
In the head.
And this has been revealed here in 2 instances. First, I have not even talked about those guns and scripts and cartridges. But it says, among others, I talked about it. 2, he talked about ethnicizing and regionalizing these matters. Let's do with the guns and cartridges first. As a student of criminology, listen to the following. When a heinous crime like this one has been committed, everybody is.
Now, Munsonyi wako interrupting, but that is very important. Nti NBS for the very first time yakoze ekintu ekirimu amagezi. Nti when Sseggona speaks about listen to this, nti muwulirize kino as a student of criminology, kati mumpulirize. They engaged us, the audience as well, ne bamusembeza ne baleeta close up shot. Ng'asomesa eggwanga. Yabaleeta asomesa just Ofono Opondo ne kano kakazi ka Muhanga. Nange kennyini nabadde nsoma. All of us, fenna ababadde balaba sheno. Literally, I think NBS one credit to you guys until you actually brought up this close-up shot. Yabadde nungi.
Encircled as a suspect. So you say, now every person who was in Uganda at this particular time.
Let me just
is
rewind
a
this a little bit. Let me rewind it.
And cartridges first. As a student of criminology, listen to the following. When a crime, a heinous crime like this one has been committed, everybody is encircled as a suspect. So you say, now every person who was in Uganda at this particular time is a suspect. Now you start to clear by elimination, and you consider certain factors. 1, motive. 2, opportunity. 3, the means used. You say, Sabiti, from the investigations we have about him, he has never handled a gun, so he's out. 2, Nathan Nandala, he doesn't even know the person.
And he was in Mbale.
And was in Mbale.
Yeah.
So the alibi gets him out. 3, you go to the nature of weapon used. Because Nandala could even have been in Mbale when he's commanding this murder. In Kawesi's case, a number of issues were raised. Among others, people started telling us of stories of when somebody called another and said, have you finished? Yes, we have finished. And that was it. You know, so many things were said.
Have you finished?
With respect to the legality or otherwise of these guns, bullets, etc., I have told you that the soldier I gave my gun to protect me has put it under his pillow and is sleeping on it. This is what I mean. This soldier has a duty to ensure that there are no guns in the wrong hands, whether governmental guns or otherwise. That's why when the Karamajong had guns, he removed them. The guns that were coming from Sudan, he detailed his brother to actually buy them from the civilians and recovered them. Now, which guns do we see? We have seen guns in the hands, for example, and by way of example, you get Honorable Nandala Mafabi, he shoots. That's your first time to know that Nathan has been moving with a gun. You see Ofono Pondo, he shoots. That's your first time to know. The next time you see Kanyamunyu pulls out a...
Now, mulabe posture ya Muhanga. Muhanga weyawulidde Kanyamunyu. Yabadde ngaayo alota nazukuka. Hey! Excuse me, mister. Excuse me, master. Question, Subjudice. Mahanga yabadde nga alota nga yenna akotosa omutwe. Weyawulidde Kanyamunyu. Excuse me, master. Subjudice. Oh my God. That was my moment of the show.
Pistol, he shoots. Now you start asking, is Kanyamunyu an officer of government?
Subjudice.
What is subjudice?
Look where she's even facing. Ekigambo bakiyita subjudice. Subjudice. I mean, ono mwenda wannabe. I know these are people abali mwenare. Most of them have just crammed words. They have just crammed statements into subjudice. Labane bwatunula abajatunudde subjudice. These people do not have any class at all. Ye Muhanga. I mean Muhanga really tainamu yadde ne class, tainamu yadde ne any sort of intellectualism, tainamu any sort of kulaga nti she can really argue. Si muntu really nze nabadde na frustrated okuba nti bakwata Muhanga n'omutuuza ne Sseggona. Sure nagiwe Sseggona tugiwulirize ng'ayogera. Nikati wabba mukazi yenaze n'ebikaati bye bambi. Okay, it's not bad. Subjudice. Sseggona master yabadde wala anyachogedde nti subjudice. Kati subjudice kitegeeza nti okwogera ku musango nga gukyali mu kooti. That's what it means. Nga we mulaba Fifth Justice Owinyi Dolo bwe yayogera ku musango gwa Bobi Wine ng'ategeeza Museveni nga bw'agenda okugukwata obulungi. ng'ate omusango olwedde gwali guli mu maaso ge ogwa election petition, that is what we call sub judice. Kakati mukyala Kabuzi yabadde waliraga ke kagambo ke yasinga okukwata mu mateeka. Bino ebirala byonna Bobi Gundi omukulu Sseggona byabadde ayogerako, motive, beneficiary, elimination method, criminal law, biki ebyo abadde tabitegeera. Era nga omanyi omwana abeera mu kiraasi nga musiro abayeyo n'akagambo ke yakwata kati ng'ayagala ochallenginga omusomesa. Kati togezanga n'ochallenginga naddala ffe abasomesa ababa bamanyi ebintu byaffe. Kuba mba nsomesezza kati Sseggona abadde mu mateeka for over 15 years. He understands the law. Kyovola bufona opondo ye yasazeewo kusirika, yagambye wayi sigenda kuswala wano. Naye era okumanya ab'eni BS mwagaze nnyo okuswaza Muhanga olw'okuba bamubasibyeko nti alina okubeera ku buli show mu NRM kati gwe promoting nga yagenda okufuuka omwogezi w'ekibiina. Oyo Muhanga mufu because look here, obedda Mike yeje balekako akolola asikondoka afuluuta nga Mike yeewulikika aseka obusekoseko obwo obw'ekirogo. Olwono nga oyo mukulu Sseggona akubye point. Tayinza kuminterruptinga because tayina facts. Tayinza kuminterruptinga because teyakoze research. Tayinza kuminterruptinga because byayagala odefendinga tebiriyo. Kakati waawo nga you pull out your best card wobanga oli mu debate. Sub judice. Kati professor gogamba sub judice. Oyinza otya okwogera ekigambo sub judice maaso ga Sseggona mukazi gwe. Oli mukazi mubi nnyo mu ddoboozi lya Alex Mukulu. Sikulaba e Kampala. Naye bannaye Sseggona kye yakoze Muhanga talidda ku show. Last week beefunira Ssegundi Lumongoya ne bagezaako omukyankalanya oyo akasajja kawufuna opondo ne Muhanga. Beefunira Lumongoya last week ne bagamba ani omulala ow'NUP gwe tuba tuleeta tumukalakate. Mutuleete ne Sseggona. Mwe mwolwokuba mubadde temumulaba ku TV, temumulaba nnyo ku zi radio biki mulowooza basiru. Kati bampuuga basigaddeyo. Sseggona wuuyo waayi. Bamuwanga Kivumbi gye bali. Gundi Kabagabe Flavia gye bali. All these people. Bano abantu babadde basirise. They are quiet. Sub judice. Ako kanyumidde. Bannaye kye yakoze Muhanga. Ono mukazi takyadda ku show. Bamufungudde yenna ne bamugjamu empale. That is what happened literally. Kubanga nali manya abantu bano basoma. Last time nali ndaba shoku era show ya Frontline. Mujjukira kana akasajja kensinga obutayagala mu Africa. Bakayita Professor Lumumba. Kajja ku show. Omawo ng'ali wali. Olanya ng'ali wali ne wali ng'ali wali. Nengamba ne kampuliriza olanya bagamba yasoma. Basoma CV eyoba speaker. Nengamba olanya nga yasoma. Yayina lecture ku LDC. Wallahi Olanya bamuleta ku show. For those of you who have heard Olanya speak, Olanya tayinza kwogeranga gundi oyo musajja bw'ayogera. He cannot articulate issues nga Sseggona wa articulating issues. Ate nga Olanya ali more educated than like in terms of ebipapula. Ayina ebipapula bingi nnyo n'okusinga Sseggona. Naye kakati tulina okwebuuza zino diguli ab'NRM ze bafuna bazijja wa? Babayisa buyisi ne bababuusa ebibiina ne babakozesa biki? Where do they get these degrees? Because they cannot even speak. They cannot ebintu ne babatira ku lupapula we batinga akiraba ko tasobola kisoma nga we kiri. Kyemuvamu laba Bright Ramirama we yali anominatinga akasajja kano ka Olanya. Bamuwa simanyi subsection bamuwa subsection oba 5C nominating a speaker ye yasoma wa 3C mujjako. Ne bamubuuza kakati ate Sseggona era yalina okuvaayo ategeeze Bright Ramirama nti muganda wange tewaliyo munnamateeka yenna mu NRM yali ayinza kutegeera kintu ekyo. Bonna baali bagenze with the flow. Sseggona NUP yalina okuvaayo n'atereeza nti munnaye bikola weebiti ne weebiti ne weebiti. This guy is a treasure for Uganda. He's a treasure for our nation. Treasure for NUP. Treasure for people power. Era olwolaba nga Sseggona ali kumpi n'Ekyagulanyi. I'm really, really happy nti he is having such a team. N'okuba nti team ngeno gye yalonze kuba lead of opposition. Tewalina omwaji kuba. Tewalina omwaji ogerako. That is powerful. I mean, Muhanga kasooke tuddeyo ku sub judice. Kubanga sub judice yansesezza. Katuwulirize.
Now that case has been concluded.
I am more schooled in that.
Yeah,
Okay.
you don't talk about laws which you don't.
I am more schooled in that. So the point I am making, you start asking, how did this one access a gun? Now, whenever there is an issue, you see men in civilian.
Akusiiza butakazaayo. I'm more schooled in that. ko muhanga neba naye abantu b'NUP buno obuntu mulina okubanga mu busalamu kyenva mulaba twetaaga media. NUP mwetaaga media. These are clips that you are supposed to cut through mu butambuze abantu babenga babulaba muwandike blogs zamwe muwandike amawulire gamwe. These are the things, because these things are really 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 important. Buli muntu abali ku side eri we balaba Sseggona ng'akola arguments eziri eloquent eziri coherent nga zino, it turns so many people okuva ku side eri ne bajja ne bajoininga side yaffe. There are so many people who will not kuchuka because of Mayanja nti nizo okuba ndi radical. There are so many people who will not kuchuka because of Patricia or Ivan Bruce or anyone from the bloggers, but there are so many people who when they listen to Sseggona speaking they change. Nena adala mafabi na yagambye nti wobanga oyoge togezanga noyogera ebyamateeka nga Sseggona ali wano kubanga yatusinga ffenna bitegeera oyo nadala mafabi former LEP former chairman Park ekifoka kati Sseggona kyalimu mafabi agambye gwe toyogeranga ebyamateeka nga Sseggona ali wano oli ku source of knowledge ey'obwamateeka mu Uganda n'okutegeera engeri y'okutaputa amateeka ate ng'owooza saabu judici. And these people stupid. But abantu lwaki tebatya bakulu bannaabwe bavaawa bajja bagobalayiriza amasannyalaze okujja e Kampala naye nabo bajja balippira Sseggona omusajja amaze mateeka almost emyaka 2 ali mu kutaputa mateeka. Kyobola maze naseka Kanyehamba yavaayo n'agamba Bobi Wine amala withdrawing omusango gwa election petition. Kanyehamba yagamba Sseggona is not an election petition lawyer. Why did he hire Sseggona? Sseggona is not the best lawyer in election petitions. Kumbe bagamba negoza dda ku birengoma nozina. With all due respect to Professor Kanyehamba, naye in the end Sseggona had the last laugh because ebintu Sseggona byali akayanako bya disprovinga Professor Kanyehamba's argument yali egamba nti no Sseggona okuwoza election petition takitegeera. Because singa Professor Kanyehamba truly yali following amateeka emisango eja Nadduli versus Electoral Commission yani badde agimanyiko, emisango ogwachiwa Muwanga Kivumbi versus Kikulukunyu yani badde agumanyiko ogwo Sseggona gwe yawangulira Muwanga Kivumbi, omusango gwe iziti gundi anyono mwerabidde Elias Lukwago neje Elias Lukwago oyo musajja yagirimu oyo Sseggona nga yagiwoza jonna electoral petition Sseggona izo kumuyitako katuddeyo nga awo omukazi amugamba yamukoze bwana gundi sirika nyinza n'obutadda ku sheno. I'm more schooled in that. I'm more schooled. Hey sirika, I'm more schooled in that. Nesimanyi ba member baffe aba NUP balaba omukulu ono waaba ayogera ba member of parliament naddala mu abapya nze era singa mbadde MP wa Uganda leero ono guy wadda wenzira. Surely, because there are so many things you can learn from this gentleman and how he argues and articulates his point. You cannot come to shows ngabino and you speak from the back of your head. No, we don't need that. NUP tuina kuleta nkuba mpya. You don't need to come no gamanti, you know, this and this and this. Museveni chino, Museveni atta abantu, Museveni chino. Yes, atta abantu. Everyone knows that Museveni atta abantu. But how can you package that information in ojireta ngeri strategic ngeri tevuma telaga rage ngeri jeska abantu abali side eri ne bajja neska baleta side eri ne baguma abaside eri ne baguma naye neska bali mwegwente muri basanyufu kulaba nga Sseggona ali ku side yaffe gute mutuma musanyufu n'olaba nga omusajja asisiza room yonna naye nga ali ku side yo. Aren't you happy to listen to that? I mean, I'm happy because that's why nze mulaba ndi happy. Wanga asisiza n'agamba guys mukakane I'm in control nze Sseggona wendi nena na mafabi n'amugamba ale obudde bwange mbukuwadde bwogereremu. Yaballa Katonda yawo omusajja Katonda. I'm more schooled in that. Okay, let's go.
Coming up with guns in the presence of the police, everybody's watching and they are shooting. Now,
when General Katumba suffered that unfortunate ordeal, there's a gentleman called Sipapa who showed up with a lead car. Same scenario when he had his incident around the NUP officers in Kamocha. So there are these people, you can't structure them in with informal
They are
government
not
offices,
anywhere.
yes, but they're flying with
Now,
guns around them. Yes.
Ofono Opondo tells me, the death of Yasin Kauma, look at the circumstances. The circumstances are factual. The man was seated behind the steering of his boss's car, listening to news. There was no fracas around the car. Somebody comes, showers bullets into a car, and you say that one has no criminal intent, unless English has to be revised. What is criminal intent? I spent some 5 years in law school. Mens rea is the intention to commit a crime. Now, you have a gun. By its very nature, is a killer weapon. You shoot into a car. You are seeing somebody seated there, unarmed. No stone, nothing. And you see, you tell me, those were the circumstances. Was there an investigation to demonstrate that the killer was the prince? Not even an investigation was ever conducted. The president had left the scene. His SFC remained behind. We're here with instructions. That's number one. The people we saw being shot at in broad daylight, somebody is carrying a basket of maize, okay, with her son. The son is shot. Someone is up in his shop, and that one is shot. And Ofono Opondo tells me that there were circumstances which brought these people. And nobody, I repeat, has been prosecuted, including with the lightest of offenses. Even reckless use of arms is an offense. Manslaughter is an offense. Nobody, not even disciplined. And he says, I'm so ignorant that I've not about these stories. Lay on table. You're a government spokesperson. Now, I think going forward, one, we need to deploy intelligent people to act for the state, whether in terms of talking, whether in terms of operations, and in everything.
Did you guys hear that? Did you get that? We need to deploy intelligent people in terms of talking. Yakikubye jab oba tekyagiwulidde oba tekyagitegedde kubanga yagambye we need to engeri gyategeeramu oluzungu eyinza okuba yanjawulo ku Ofono Opondo gyategeeramu oluzungu. So he throws a jab at him n'amugamba nti we need to deploy intelligent people, in terms of talking. I mean, that was really, really hurtful. Twaiza gamba nti Ofono Opondo tali intelligent. He has always, for the past 6 years, abadde ku pane eyo nga ye mugeza aliko nga ne mawo be bageza abaliko. Mba ayogera nnyo. We need to deploy I mean, that was a big job to Ofono Opondo. Era Ofono Opondo ye yagambye wayenze kansirike akasajja kajja kunzitira miguwa.
We do. Picking people from the streets, arming them to go and protect. The only person who I know is absolutely secure in this country until God decides otherwise is Yoweri Tibuhaburwa Museveni. Because even if he saw a snake crossing the road in front of his car, he can order shooting. He's so paranoid that nobody is safe. Now, let's look at these. I mean, we can put these across for the police to investigate if they want to investigate anyway. One, investigate all these soldiers at the rank of General Katumba. Investigate all those people.
Ulira recommendation. Ulira recommendations. Way forward. Olaba tutte mu way forward. Yenna ndala yagambye ahanze mbivuddemu. Muhanga. Yagambye bannaye. Nze bimpitiriddeko kanzireno kapapula mwenda mukuba Muhanga yabadde ne kagundi mu kutu. Nakubira mwenda kiri kitya akasajja shogiraba akasajja akatutwala. Wiki ewedde twali bubi, wiki ewedde akantu twakakola, ne tutawanya secretary general naye mwana ono gwe mwaleese nze sigenda kudda ku show. Omusajja kati ababulira we need to investigate every general on Katumba's rank. We are recommendation yezo. Mutwalidde muhozi kaine rugaba. Akuba indirect. But okuleka nga wabadde owuliriza ng'oli very attentive. I mean, this guy is really, really, really intelligent in his submission. Tavoola, tavumye, tawemudde, talimbye. Because you're building the pointing aji building. Ngagamba nti, for such a high profile murder or case, everyone in the country mu Uganda is a suspect. Okuvira ddala ku muntu asookerako ddala waggulu paka ku muntu asembayo wansi, everyone afuuka suspect. Kakati you start eliminating. Nange nasomye. Wala kagambo kayogedde bakuyita Monunzuria ndowooza. It is Latin, I think. Intent. Netunyonya motive. Netunyonya ba beneficiaries. Netunyonya aha ona yabadde ne alibi teyabaddewo. Then you start eliminating. Now, building from that, akulaga nti kakati, after narrowing everything down, the 46 million Ugandans, to narrowing it down to a small channel of people, to sokena buli jeno mu Uganda, buli ayeyita jeno, oba buli amanyikiddwa nga jeno, they have to be investigated. Nga ofuna oponda awuliriza, essebo tusoma tuwuliriza, ye sabiti musajja watu yagaya, banaye, nze nakkiriza sina ekyokukola show yangezeeko, eno show yagezze. I mean, His Excellency, the Right Honorable Sseggona is bigger than any BS. He's bigger than the show itself. Oh my God. Menzria. Okay, Menzria. Thank you very much. Man, when a guy in the... I couldn't get enough of this.
People that might be interested in succession.
Okay, now, buli muntu okay, kanzidemu baganda manga Uganda. Omukulu Sseggona agamba nti tuyina okunyonyereza oba buli muntu oba buli jeno ali interested mu succession mu kusikira Museveni ayina okunyonyerezebwako. Ekyo kikwataganira wano okutta Katumba Wamala. Nze naawe.
Investigate all those people that
Is there a particular reason why you bring up the succession question?
Yes, there is a particular reason. And the reason is simple. That there is a contest for power in this country. Those soldiers, those people near President Museveni, who want to succeed him from within, should be investigated. Like I said, whenever there is a heinous crime like this one, you circle. Say, what could be the motive? Is the motive political? Those that have dealt with him in business should be investigated. At some point, and this is where I continue to praise this man, Katumba Wamala, I had clients who had a land issue with his wife. The wife bought from a particular group, the other group was opposed. And I was representing a group that was opposed. Way before I rose to what you may call prominence today, General Katumba Wamala looks for me and says, I don't use my rank. If there is an issue, let us know. And the man, in his pips, I was much shorter and much younger than this.
You have always been short.
This one thinks I've always been short.
Stop growing at 18.
You see, the problem
It's not that short.
No. The problem is nursery school.
You see, these guys are so stupid, yeah? Kakati, Sseggona yabadde very intelligent in his debate. Like, he throws them a bone. Chetwita self-deprecation. Nti ye nafuya oba ye zalawa. For them to engage them, nabo babeko ne kyeboogera. Naga nti I've always been short. Ndikasajja kampi. Kati awo fono wayagala ebyo bamanyira ne bammawo kuba front line oba bagifuula ki nti bayina engeri gye bafuula sheno something completely ekitagasama na Uganda. So agamba even these guys nga basirisa, let me throw them a bone. So he self-deprecates himself as a tactic in terms of debate. So it uplifts Muhanga as well as it uplifts Ofono Opondo. But so Rokola statements and the gentleman, what's his name? Sseggona is gonna attack those statements. Portraying which is really interesting because debate over argument. If someone self-deprecates themselves and you laugh at that joke, then he has got you. What you need to do is just keep quiet. If we call a joke mutaseka, then I use obutaddamu kola jokes in debate. But if someone self-deprecates himself neyejerega naba sulire gombe yo ne museka, then he has made you laugh. He has won. He has won. Chovola Banze, I never laugh at Museveni's jokes because those jokes are meant to make you laugh in terms of communication. So if you don't laugh, it makes Museveni look stupid. You get the idea. Psychology, right? That's how it should be. But these people are so stupid. Muhanga ye yabivuddeko akotusone omutwe. Bana tufa we are dying. Akasajja tufa wodi. Fono oponda asazeko awuliriza asoma. Nandala Mafabi ye yagambye obudde bwange bonna nabwadde ono yaba aboogera n'obu FDC. Thank you very much, Mandala Mafabi. We might not agree on so many things, but wakoze one of your best shows in your life ever since Tivanga Nkolaba Kombi Obufuzi. Mandala Mafabi wakoze one of the best shows. Everyone will remember this show.
I take responsibility of not having taken him to a good nursery school. When somebody says I was much shorter, it means the situation has changed. I'm much taller today. But anyway, on a more serious note, and now
Margaret says NRM has made you taller.
Yes,
you might not take note of that.
Again, yes, those are the small minds which think that NRM can donate height. But I am not bothered with those. Was she one of the yellow girls who were heckling?
You are just a bad breed, I think.
You see, I normally listen.
Finally, so we listen to
I normally listen to people, but you know, the Yellow Brigade girls who were fond of heckling want to extend that to the studio here. So the point I am making, and you know, by the way, this is a matter where Margaret needs to listen to learn and benefit. She was a taxpayer when I went to law school. She needs to listen and learn.
I wasn't.
You were not?
My grandfather.
So you never contributed to my fees, just listen and learn.
Man, guys, enosho yetaga episodes zibiri. Enosho yetaga episodes zibiri. For the information, Margaret Muhanga ye yabbe ettaka ya UBC okay, sagala chikoza because Sseggona yo argument yagikozesa. Now secondly, Margaret Muhanga is a sister to Mwenda. Hey guy, mwana Sseggona, this is a lady. Women is rights, man. Sseggona, women is rights. Oh, sorry. OHT was Sseggona. Women is rights. Please, women is rights. Women is rights, please. Kongena kaddamu kankaddemu tukawulirize mpola. Women is rights. Bana tulina Sseggona, please. Women is rights. Omukazi lekera omuttira miguwa. Banaye bakimaze akajanja ekikazi kino. Yakigambye ntina omanyi Sseggona is a very, very intelligent debater, a very intelligent tactician. Yamugambye nti look here. Omanyi Muhanga mwabe nare mumwe mwamperera. So kakati ndeka njogere owulirize oyige. Sorry, ndeka njogere. Ko Muhanga nze sikuwererangako tetukuwererangako nagamba sekete mumpererangako, so you have never paid for my school fees, then you listen and learn kubanga sigwe wansomesa nze singana li Muhanga nga ndi mu studio awo, I would have played the card of women's rights omwenkano. Surely I would have played that card. No abakyala ba Uganda bulwa Sseggona is sexist. Aiza chokungamba nti no nsirike amboloko simuwererangako awuzanyirawo kadi ya women's rights kubanga oba owedde. You see, the problem with these people is one. Muhanga ikyamulemye okutegeera kintu kimu. If Sseggona is speaking tomuddamu, if he makes a joke, don't laugh because he's going to get you. You see where the joke started from? He self-deprecated himself, n'abasetingira trap, ne baseka, ne bagigwamu. Gye bigenze okuggwera nga Muhanga aswadde. You don't do that. If he makes a joke, keep quiet. Lwaki mbawa amagezi mu ebye NRM. Kaba baswaze. Now look where the joke has led to Muhanga. Akalaze nti kati mpuliriza bwe mba njogera siriko ige. Ofono pondo ye yakkiriza musajja waffe Mandala Mafabi kati alina ku ssimu yagaye nti Sseggona obudde bwange bwonna mbukuwadde. Mandala Mafabi ye yakkiriza yagaye nze obudde bwange bwonna Sseggona mbukuwadde. Ofono pondo ye awuliriza Muhanga alemeddeko. Ate ekyo kyabadde kituusa butuuza. Kale kano nino kazaaye mabega. Kankazeeyo kemabega kano kanyumye nnyo bannaye. Naye mwe ababaka b'NUP bannaye ndowooza ebintu bino mubiraba. You guys should learn how to debate. Temumala gagenda ku TV na mitwe mikalu. nti genda bagenda kwogera kuki Museveni byayogedde kuki kyova olaba mwetaaga abantu abakola research. If you are a new member of parliament tekigaana funa omwana omusasula emitwalo 6 oba 7 per month ojja kubanga Sseggona. If you do admire Ssegona's prowess n'engeri gye yayogedde ku Sheno n'engeri gy'ajjanga alaga abantu bano nti tebalina kye bamanyi NRM yabagaidinga oli yajja okunominatinga speaker naye nga nebyanominatinga tamanyi. Sseggona is the one who came to the rescue. Sseggona yatubeereddewo naffe mu NUP ku misango gino gyonna egijja mu court everything. These people are activists. Muyinza obutabalaba ku street, muyinza obutabalaba ku Facebook naffe ba bloggers na biki, but balina omulimu gw'amaanyi nnyo gwe bakola. It's a very very big job. Kati naffe mulimu gwaffe nga ba blogger nti abantu bano baba bakoze ekintu ekiri extraordinary tuba tulina okujja ne tukijjayo ne tukibatemera ne tubalaga amakulu gwa Sseggona okubanga ali eloquent, okubanga he's a good debater, okubanga musajja mwogezi, okubanga asensera facts nazikuteera ku mmeeza naye n'ozitegeera mu ntegeera esinga okuba ennyangu. Kati all this takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of research. It takes a lot of okusoma. That is the man. Kakali namu ababaka b'en UP, if you want to be like Sseggona, ababaka b'en UP because bonna bagezi. I mean, they know these things. So anyway, today wano tuwulirize Muhanga nga bamuteeka mu kifo kye.
And much younger than this.
You have always been short.
This one thinks I've always been short.
Stop growing at 18.
You see, the problem
Is not that short.
No. The problem is nursery school. I take responsibility of not having taken him to a good nursery school. When somebody says I was much shorter, it means the situation has changed. I'm much taller today. But anyway, on a more serious note, and now
Margaret says NRM has made you taller.
Yes,
you might not take note of that.
Again, yes, those are the small minds which think that NRM can donate height. But I am not bothered at all. Was she one of the yellow girls who were heckling?
You are just a bad breed, I think.
You see, I normally listen.
Finally, so listen to
I normally listen to people, but you know, the Yellow Brigade girls who were fond of heckling want to extend that to the studio here. So the point I'm making, and you know, by the way, this is a matter where Margaret needs to listen to learn and benefit. She was a taxpayer when I went to law school. She needs to listen and learn.
I wasn't.
You were not?
My grandfather.
So you never contributed to my fees, just listen and learn. Now, and I'm serious about this. Investigate everybody. My brother, Professor Gilbert Bukenya, had our son, called Brian Bukenya, whom he donated to this country to serve as a soldier. He died in an accident. And when Professor Bukenya was mourning, some of the statements he made were to the effect that I cannot understand this accident. When I was growing up, I learned that in a village where you have an old man or woman suspected to be a witch, people do not die by themselves. Baganda do not die by themselves. There must be a cause. And that cause is always related to witchcraft. So, there must be some form of witchcraft which must be investigated about the death of this young lady. Again, who her father donated to the country to serve in the military hospital in Bombo. That one must also be investigated. We may even think these people were targeting Katumba, General Katumba, when they were targeting the young lady.
All right,
So finally,
yes.
very, very finally, my brother, I agree with those who say we should join forces together. But what do you want us to do as civilians? We have given you all you wanted. As Honorable Nandala said, we gave you the money in classified. We allowed you to borrow money, to bring cameras. The cameras have not arrested a single criminal. Now you're telling me, that's why I said he came with a script.
Is that a statement of fact?
Yeah. That what?
That the cameras have not arrested
What
a
have they
single
arrested?
person?
Cameras don't arrest.
After Kawesi, we installed the cameras. Tell me about these murders. I mean, maybe for those ones I saw, the ones of Mengo, how come these ones, the cameras were blind? I hope they will not be blind on Katumba. They were blind on Abiriga. They were blind on Chirumira. They are blind on all these high-profile murders. They are blind. They are not working. The regionalization is Ofono Pondo's issue, but now that he has brought it up, I think it is also worth investigating why those murdered, the high-profile murders, are for a particular tribe. I think the police should interest itself. If the police is not tribal, if not the army is not tribal, they should interest themselves in that factor as well.
All right, we're due for a break, but I think it's fair to get to listen to the
Yes,
Honorable.
I'm not going to be afraid to say that even that one, the matter which Ofono Pond has raised about the tribe should be investigated.
You are the ones who are raising it.
No, you raised it
elsewhere.
I didn't talk about it.
I'm saying you have been quoted.
Me.
You in plural. You have been quoted.
Oh, in plural.
Yes.
Laba Ofono Ponda yewozaako go byese musanje nunda munna tobiteeka go byogedde munna sisobola byinnyonnyola byoyogera go byogedde mugana sibirimu bannaye nedda go byogere nti go bire kuba the truth is Sseggona never brought that argument up. You see, these are not tactics guys akozesa because NRM balina line eno nti ekintu kakali tukifudde kyamawanga nti Katumba amalo olwokuba bamukubi amasasi nti batta Baganda. Sseggona eyo statement teyagikozesezza oyo Ofono Opondo yeyagireese kati agimugamba naga anenda in plural what do you mean tabisobola binyonya musajja sibirimu zaziruse guma mu byogedde namubuuza hambulira nabyogeredde wa ku show nti in plural naye ono tebagenda muza ku show.
Okay, the likes of you.
Guys, I were NUP. For those of you who don't know, Sseggona is an NUP member of parliament, Atera is chairman Public Accounts Committee. Just so you know. Member of parliament were NUP. Ali once were His Excellency Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu.
Even Abiriga's death should be.
No, but I think my grandson, you don't need Sseggona. You don't have to fear.
No.
It is a true. If a tribe is big.
Ayazukidde wano. This is Nandala Mapavi's best performance. Kati naye yayagadde okuzannya aka Sseggona kubanga Sseggona yayisa Ofono Opondo grandson n'ayita ono muwala daughter kakati ne Mafabi I will let that pass kubanga wazanye kadi wagizanye bulungi silence yabadde nnungi Mafabi wazanye bulungi kadi yo. I mean I'm very critical about you but you did a good job Mafabi
exterminated. It must be talked about. Yes. Why are we going to fear?
And that is it.
This is our country.
That is found to be true. It is our country.
All right, Honorable Margaret, finally on this issue, I think that the fundamental question that really rings through my mind is, isn't it time to stop discussing the pigs and talk about the piggery, who owns it? Shouldn't we expect more from the president?
The pigs are an armed force and there is a commander-in-chief.
Other than the pigs, shouldn't the president now be speaking more about this instance? What's your general take? You'll have the final word on this as we cross to the second topic.
Well, you have shielded some people.
I have
from the
listened
second
to
topic.
so many people speak even for 20 minutes.
That's why I'm saying you'll have the last word because you have.
You are
But I want to say
moderator.
that in places...
Ofono Opondo obedde asirise leero amugambye musajja twabadde n'eddiiro nga bwe twakikola luli ku lubongoya tubadde tulina okukikola leero but today you have been a bad moderator. Ofono Opondo for the very first time agambye nga bwe twayogedde last week ddiiro wakitegedde twagala NUP bonna tubaleete tubasakate nze ne Muhanga naye leero today you have been a bad moderator akazannyo tokazannye omusajja atulidde ku show Sseggona kyatukoze you have been a bad moderator today nga bagamba you have been a bad moderator. Oh God, this was really, it was a master class.
Situations like
if you have
this
anything
one.
to respond, you'll have the chance. I have no reason to stop you from saying a word.
But what has he got to respond?
Sseggona mukazi muleke ekitiibwa Sseggona mukazi muleke tuyambe mukazi yamutidde miguwa. What has she got to respond? what has she got to respond? Yamugambye intelligence wise talina kyategeera, ebyobufuzi tabitegeera, economy tagitegeera, security tagitegeera, amateeka tagategeera. What has she got to respond?
That will be determined when he speaks. Honorable Margaret, you have the floor.
In situations like this one, Sabiti, everybody wants to be an expert on something.
That's the same line we have been hearing. Anyway, guys, that is... I think in Jakadam. But for those of you who didn't watch the show, please go and watch it. It was really, really nice. And I mean, it was so good, so good. Like I've watched it like almost 3 times. And I'm trying to watch Ssegona's submissions and his tactics in building arguments and trying to debunk because babadde boogera Katumba Wamala and the state of security. But what was very surprising to me is nti ate Sseggona ye yabadde ng'ayogerera Katumba Wamala than Ofono Opondo oba ono mukazi gwe baleese okwogerera Katumba Wamala, showing that Sseggona knows much more about Katumba than these NRM folks. That was my takeaway point. Kubanga ye yayogedde ebintu ng'olabira ddala nti he's personally attached to the gentleman than these so-called departed people. Now, what that shows is that into loyalty in the NRM eriyo by convenience. Inti just tuli wano ng'ekibiina yero naye tukimanyi temutwagala, but I might be more loyal to people from my kinsmen, one way or the other. I mean, saagala ebimu byogerera wano naye it's really interesting from my own understanding. I might disagree with so many people about Katumba Wamala Nabichi, because when nalabye debate ya Sseggona, then I backtracked on a few things that I thought about Katumba Wamala, because nange ng'omuntu maybe nabadde simumanyi, nabadde nina ebintu bye following up, but it is really sad. And I don't think Katumba Wamala is gonna be happy nti bamutidde omwana. And I don't think Katumba Wamala truly believes nti ADF ye yasse omwana we. But at times like this, he has to play with the game. He has to go with the flow of the game. What Katumba needs to do is to play a long game. Because wanagezaako reacting very quickly. Right now, omusajja amulinze nti try and react olabe ekinvaamu. The other issue is Sseggona bintu bingi nnyo bye yazze okususiza mu debate eyo. Mutabani wa Bukenya yafa and the circumstances under which that guy died. Look how the gentleman brings it up. Era Ofono Opondo yenga ekyokwogera takirina. Bukenya said enfa y'omwana wange saagitegeera. Gwe omuntu mubeera mutya mu mmotoka neegwa kabenje, out of the 4 people muntu owuwo n'afa ne bamusanga n'ebisago mu kawanga, like in the head, ne bamusangamu ne injuries. Very interesting. Iranze, I believe, whereas Katumba Wamala we NRM, me nganze, analytically I believe, if Katumba Wamala had been killed successfully, there would have been a somber mood in the central region of Uganda. That is in Buganda region, seriously. That would have happened. Because it would dawn on reality. In reality. Like people from the central. Look here, guys. If we look into the army, Katumba, the most decorated gentleman, General, no one else. No one else. Mwandi tunude ne mugamba, look here. Whereas Katumba nti fine, akolera eri blah 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 blah. Na ye, singa yabadde akubiddwa amanda ago. We would have looked, n'ogamba nti akabiri maybe katubadde tulinayo mu magye. Because we want Katumba to come on our side, like it or not. But he cannot come on our side when he's dead. Because when he's dead, the other people have fully taken control. For as long as he's still there, Museveni is going to tread carefully within the military. Chovola ba speech zako zo olwaleero awaana magye, because amagye gagenda geekutulamu. The magye is unstable. The military is very unstable because of the statements Museveni zabadde ajja akola, and also because of how some people mu magye basukkulumizibwa ku balala. So that inequality, it is abamagye bakiraba. Kinga nga bwe tunaabeera ku mulimu nga tulinako baganda baffe abahima nga naffe abaganda. There is a hierarchy. Nti tojja kusanga muhima asiimula toyi. Ojja kubalaba nga basoga be basiimula toyi, be batunda ebinyeebwa, emirondo awo wabweru wa ofiisi eza gavumenti. Nga baganda baffe bano abalala bo bali eri. Whereas these same people are working in the same institution. They are working under the same government. They are serving the same masters. Nga bonna bonna bakozi ba ministry emu, naye olw'okuba balaba inequality in terms of ethnicity, what happens is it creates resentment of these people. Ababeera wansi. Now, abantu bano babeera very important because while they are still there in the institution, baba basobola, if they turn, never flipping, and bagamba, okay, now we have joined NUP, and they remain within the institution, kitegeeza you start to eat the institution from within. You get the point? I've told someone today, Nemuga, look here. We were having a discussion. Nemuga auntie, I would rather have Katumba Wamala in the NRM. Nga he is sympathetic to NUP. Nga he is sympathetic to the opposition than having a NUP member, a member of NUP, than having a NUP member nga mugoberezi wa NUP alina ne kadi yaffe. Naye ate ng'ebintu byakola biyamba Museveni, oba ng'ebintu byakola abikolera Museveni, oba nga atubega or something of that sort. Oba nga tali committed naye nga commitment ye eri wa Museveni. That's what I told. That was my argument. I would rather have an NRM member nga ali sympathetic towards NUP naye nga ali mu NRM, because that person is very hard to find such an individual, than having a NUP member who is working within us naye nga akolera Museveni. Because there is this argument that people make, ne bagamba nti okay, we NRM, so mubi yali yose nakola bwati, okay, fine. Naye ate nga tulina aba NUP abatukoleramu tubamanyi, like you can see Lubaga oba NRM yatuta oba speaker. How do you explain that? In Lubaga division owa NRM natwala oba speaker. Tell me, how do you explain that? How do you explain that? Kati Katumba Wamala zaake gwe yabadde amabugo miliyoni emu ne gundi gwawadde bano these other people biki, because the only thing that we blame Katumba Wamala is kukozesa statements ezogamba nti eyo NUP temujja bikola wano, Sudan temujja bikola. Ekyokubiri kye tumublaminga yakuba zaake ngumi, of which yetondera zaake. Omusajja yagambye Nandala Mafabi, quoting from the show, nti Katumba Wamala, olaba Nandala Mafabi speaks highly of Katumba, is very very important. Katumba gundi yagambye oyo musajja nti look here, singa yabadde tumwine nga gwe baakuba engumi, oba singa yabadde tumwine yandigambye nti nga netondera nti oyo gundi zaake kana kato biki tumwine would have been arrogant. Naye jeno n'ateeka wali cepeze n'agenda ne yeetondera zaake. He said sorry, ekyo tukimujjako ekyokuba zaake ngumi, and zaake forgave Katumba Wamala. I cannot blame Katumba Wamala for beating Zaake, because Katumba Wamala sought repentance. Who are we? Omuntu singa abagaye nti munaye nsonyiwa. Bantu bameka bava mu NRM ne bajja ne bagamba nti manaye I'm sorry for this and this. Nani? Teri muntu ayinza kuvaayo n'agamba nti I'm sorry because of their arrogance. Kitegeeza nti Katumba has some sort of consciousness within him. To me, from my own understanding, from my own look of things, with the response that he has gotten from both the opposition as well as the ruling party. But okay, do not forget Katumba Wamala arrested the NUP team in Kalangala. Look here, there is no evidence to that. There is no evidence that Katumba Wamala arrested the NUP team in Kalangala. There is no evidence, and that is a lie. There is no evidence to that effect. Ekyokuba nti ava Kalangala, it doesn't mean that kukwatira abaana Kalangala Katumba Wamala ya ordering gundi. The person who ordered that operation in Kalangala was Paul Lokech. Yali Lokech, no one else. Because Lokech bamuleta leero, the following week na planning gundi eyo kukola ki? Na planning a move yokwata abana bafe Kalangala. It was not Katumba Wamala that arrested our children in Kalangala. That is hearsay, and there is no evidence to that. Because if the evidence was there, then Bobby Wine would have brought it up. Zake Zakambabuli must struggle to be radical, but there is no one who is more radical than Zake. If you see Zake awadeo na amabugo, nena mwemulekirao katuwiyo ne byawoza mu what of Kasese. In Kasese Katumba yagamba, I have nothing to do with Kasese. He distanced himself from the Kasese debacle. He distanced himself from Kasese debacle. Nabaga nze sibirimu ebye Kasese ebyereru yamanyi byeyakola. I don't know if you guys have been reading or following these things, but in Kasese Katumba teyakirimu. Katumba echekalangala teyakirimu. The only thing we blame Katumba kuba Zake ngumi ebigambo byayogera kuba boda ne kyayogera nti aba nupu izo nupu tugenda zisalako, which is interesting to me. Ndika hakati ekirala kiki tumuvunana nti alina abaana baffe be yakwata ne babakuba oba n'abakwasa ne kuba kakati labayo. He's only one. He's just one general from the central. Talina leverage. If he shows any sort of public sympathy or sympathy yamanyi oba eri radical all the time nti munaye mubatemu bakole abantu bakoleramu naye bennyini bajja mutta era byebigendo byebimutisa muline singa babadde bamuserero bandi abo basegona bandi babulidde n'ebintu bingi babakuba Katumba masasi. Segona would have told you nti maybe abadde he tried to release our children babate, because if you try to pester, because what Museveni is asking Katumba is, Katumba, look here, buli kimu kikuwadde nakufula IGP nakufula CDF nkufudde minister, I want your loyalty. How could you say bana abantu betugezaako kwata notandika okubagamba nti nno tubate? Why are you pestering me for that? Where is your loyalty? Is it with Kyagulanyi or is it with me? At times you have to use your brains. You have to use your brains. Now if you made that, that is his prerogative. But because look here, you are the only Muganda there. Bakutadde mukaguli nze kankubulire nakolerako manyankole aba bahima. I've worked in those people. I've worked with them, like I've worked with them, literally I've worked in them. No tula mu meeting ng'olulimi lulala. It is completely a different language. Nga si Luzungu, si Luganda, naye nga boogera lulimi lulala. And then you have to make decisions. Now you're outnumbered. What do you do? Nti wano Sabiti Muzeyi ali wano, Muhoza ali wano, Museveni ali wali, Rwaboga ali wano, what do you call them? Otafira ali wali, Sejjusa ali wali, Muhoza ali wali, David Muhoza ali wali, and then they ask you, Paul Lokech ali wali, nga yegwe Katumba. And they ask you, Katumba Wamala, lwaki otusindiikiriza nnyo okuta abaana? Gwe bagenda okutuuza mu meeting eyo nga gwe muganda we kalimu, kiba kitegeeza ki? I don't know. You can tell me. I've been in that meeting before. Nga abasajja balina national language endala gye boogera. Bamunywa mata. Man, I've never felt so low. Bwe mulowooza bino Zaake byayogera alimba, abasajja bamale bamugala mugolooza, the Baganda will kufuga here. No. There's something I heard, but it broke my heart as a person. I don't know if it is true. Maybe it is a rumor. Wallahi. They said, Bobby Wine we bamukwata, Arua. A group of people from that region, that clique, bamuteeka mu kaduukulu nga bamaze omukuba. ne bamuwandulira amalusu. Like they spat at him. Ne bongerezaako n'ebigambo ebigamba nti gwe mulowooza mmwe, Abaganda or something of that sort. Mulina kye muyinza okukola. I don't want even to bring that talk. But it hurts. It hurts. Ne mulaba omusajja alemeddeko, ne mulaba omusajja nga omusajja takutuka. His resolve is not going any time down. I've been in that meeting. It's one of my closest. Gundi gye nali mbaddemu akatwako. Akatu. All of a sudden, wonogenda mu board meeting nga bakuyise wane Bulaaya. Nga board meeting yeyo erimu bazungu bokka. Nga gwe muddugavu. Haven't you ever realized that issue? No, hey man, look here. Nasiraba omuntu anfaanana. There's something going on here. So I've been in that meeting. Nga ndaba all of a sudden enseefu nze mayanja mu room. Nga abalala beba. But I'm not saying that all these people are bad. No, these people are not bad. It's just a small clique. And there are a few kids who are taking on those behaviors. There is a clique of kids that are taking on those behaviors, which is very, very detrimental to our country. This is how things started. In Nigeria, the 67 civil war in Nigeria between the Yorubas, the Igbos, and the Fulanis? The Yorubas were more successful than the Fulanis. And okay, these problems were colonial as well. They would war again under the minority. Sorry, the issues to balance it is the same thing that happened in Rwanda. The Belgians back was under the Tutsis or Fuganga Bahutu. Then when tables turned after independence, then the Belgians never aligning up with the Hutus, and then never subjugating the Tutsis. So in the end, culminating it is the 1994 genocide. The same thing happened in Burundi. Because there is a genocide that took place in Burundi that people don't know about, the Hutu genocide in Burundi. Because you cannot explain the genocide in Rwanda if at all you don't look at the genocide in Burundi. Because in Burundi, it was the other way around. The Tutsis were subjugating Baba Hutu. And the Hutus in Rwanda used it as justification. And look here, these people are subjugating us, but we sabubi. The same thing happened in Nigeria. Okwagala take out the state of Biafra. Into the people, the Yorubas, Bakolaku, was it Gundi, one of the generals? Guy nagena natta bajeno bonna. Nene erabira okutayo ku bajeno abayoruba. Aba Igbo. Sorry, it was the Igbos and the Fulani. Oliwe agenda okutta bajeno abalala bonna ne chief natta ne chief wa Gundi, one of the caliphs in the northern Nigeria. Erabira okutayo ku babe. All of a sudden, these Fulanis realized, wait a minute. So this is a conspiracy. So what happened? Civil war, Nigeria. Over 2 million people died. That's it. So these are issues you don't play with. Thank you very much for listening. Have a blessed night. Bye-bye.